Well, if it seems like the job market is terrible, you're not alone in that. It is rough for everybody here, and we have today an article we're going to go over from Bamboo HR, which specifically highlights the fact that things are pretty bad out there in the job market. Again, for those that don't know, I'm a business coach who works out of West Michigan. I come live and talk about with my clients here, kind of share it out there and give my advice to those out there who are in the business world. So with all that, let's get into this here. It's from Bamboo HR. Link, as always, is going to be in the description, so be sure to go check that out. Just a heads up, I'm going to be working on a little tea today. It's winter time, so I'm just like everyone else. I do have a little bit of a cold, so again, appreciate you hanging with me. All right, so let's get into this here. Bamboo HR Workforce Insights monthly report. Now this comes out on a consistent basis from Bamboo HR, and this is where they just get the information from their surveys that they get back from folks about what's going on in the business world. Look at this headline, folks. Hiring hits a 5-year low in December. 5-year low, folks. So for those of you who've been out there trying to get a job and been struggling, hey, you're not alone. It's been everyone here. Now, the end of Q4 has been marked by a significant decrease in turnover and hiring globally, with hiring hitting a 5-year low. In the U.S., these trends are mirrored with turnover dropping to 2020 levels and hiring reaching its lowest point in the last 5 years. That's 60 months. In the last 60 months, we are now at the lowest point, folks. In all industries, hiring decreased, with the global hiring rate dropping to 1.7%, and U.S. is 1.9%. Man, that is atrocious. We're going to look at some charts here in a second that are going to show, real quick, that the overall number of job openings hasn't really changed. It's just that no one is hiring. That's the piece that is just crazy on here. So let's look at the overall data before we get into this. So Bamboo HR's platform data, sourced over 4.82 million employee data points across the globe, provides a global perspective. And that's what's nice about this. We kind of get to see across the globe what this looks like, okay? Again, hiring and job opening turnover. Let's look at the data. From November to December in the U.S., hiring decreased by 12%. Holy baby. Woof. Woof. That's crazy. Year over year, decreased 8% versus 2023. Then globally, 22% down, and then 10% down from year over year. So, that continues to mirror and reinforce what all of my clients have been seeing and doing. That everyone has gotten a lot more selective on who they're bringing in. There's any number of reasons, but frankly, it's just a lot of it has to do with what the top line as far as revenue looks like for these companies. No one is necessarily hurting, but the feeling out there amongst businesses is that everything could turn off in a matter of seconds. Like, folks don't know, they don't feel confident right now with where the economy is globally, in the U.S., et cetera. Yes, there's been an uptick in the U.S. since Trump got elected, but that euphoria has since, dissipated as people continue to look at the numbers. Okay. Let's talk about job openings. U.S. Okay. So by the way, I want to retract what I just said. Again, I'm going through this in real time with y'all here. The number of job openings decreased by 13%. That is a significant cut. And then job openings decreased by 21% year over year. So I'm gonna have to wait and see what the new data, because I had a different set of numbers that came out from the NFIB that I was going off of when I said that. So again, I stand corrected. We'll have to see what this looks like. Globally, again, it's 10% and 22% year over year. And honestly, I expect the job market in certain areas of the country, especially in the East Coast, to get much more competitive, as what President Trump plans on doing as far as eliminating more and more positions from the federal government. You're going to see more previous federal employees and contractors entering the workforce. Excuse me. All right, so turnover decreased by 1.3%, and then globally it's down 8% and 19% year over year. So let's take a look at some of these pieces here. They got a nice little chart that I think will help you guys kind of see what we're talking about. I mean, listen, I'm a simple man. I really am. I like numbers, like spend time there looking at those, but I like graphs too. And you look at the right side of this graph over here. You tell me what that's showing. Look at that. From our peak coming out of COVID, which was going to happen, right? Everything coming out of COVID, everything reopened. We're hiring because there's so much pent up demand. We are now back to, like, and this is what they're talking about. And when they say the lowest in 60 months in 5 years, this is when the pandemic hit and everyone stopped hiring. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I'm not necessarily shouting from the rooftop on this, but when you have this level of hiring or lack of hiring and this anemic, it is not good. Like, it's not good at all. And that just shows you there is so much change hitting the overall economy as a whole between the U.S., North America, and globally. My biggest concern that I have right now is, we went through the pandemic, right? We got all of this euphoria and all of this money that just pumped into the system that we've had to digest and work our way through now. And there was so much money to go after, but now it hasn't fully worked its way through, but it is doing its thing. We've digested most of it. Now, not only have we overhired, but that money has done what it needed to do, i.e. it returns back to the government in the form of taxes and duties and things like that. So while there's money out there, the vast majority of people don't have any. And that's what we're seeing, this overall struggle that's happening. And so they're not spending as much, which businesses aren't getting as much top line, and their expenses are going up. And you can just see that cycle is happening. We've had so many consumer habits have changed as well, too, that nobody knows how to run businesses in this type of environment. So we are absolutely in a transition phase. And I would not be surprised in the slightest if we enter a significant recession, which out of nowhere, everyone stops, businesses start going under all at once. And I also wouldn't be surprised if somehow everything turns around immediately too, as well. It's so hard to understand what's going to happen. But when I look at charts, it's one of the big things I do. And I use charts to help business owners make decisions. This thing all the way over to the right here, it is not something that says we are in a place of we are not in a healthy economy. That's what that says. Like, this says the bottom just fell out. That is what that's signaling, folks. All right, let's keep going here. Again, this is the global side of it too. Now, global, frankly, y'all look about the same as you always kind of. Yes, it's come down since the pandemic, but the U.S., there's a big chunk of euphoria in there. And this is the other spot too. Industry trends, hiring, job openings, turnover. It's across all industries where this is happening. Travel, hospitality, healthcare, and construction. They haven't been able, they have cut people left and right out of travel, hospitality, healthcare. They can't find enough people. In construction, they can't find enough people. So that's why you would see the numbers staying where they're at. Regional trends. I think this would be interesting. Let's see the areas they got here. So North America had the highest percentage in hires in proportion to total employees, while Middle East and Africa and Europe had the lowest percentage. And then, but with that, North America, Latin America, and Europe all have the highest turnover. So you can just see that piece here. All right, so the next one here is manager and peer reviews. The spike in peer reviews continued in 2024. In the last month of the year, we observed notable trends in manager and peer reviews, both globally and in the U.S. So I did an article. So what does this mean? The peer reviews. Ladies and gentlemen, this is that video that I talked about where the, heads up, corporate is using PIPs. They're basically using PIPs to, initiate layoffs. This is what we're talking about here. They are coming in with the amount of reviews that are happening here are going up, which means they're going to be looking to cull the herd. So just be aware of that. And then just a couple other things I want to get into here just last bit before we call it a day here. For those who are still with me, appreciate it. Hopefully I earned your subscription today. So please, if you haven't, definitely would love to have you sub. Employee PTO requests and approvals. In December, 38% of employees in the U.S. requested PTO, and 48% of those requests were approved. Let me just say that again. 38% of people requested time off, and only half of them were approved. Again, I want you to go check out the link to this article. It's in the description. Go check it out. It's worth the read. Spend some time on there. Thanks to, again, Bamboo HR for putting this information out there. Let me say that one more time for those in the back. In December of 2024, 38% of employees requested time off, and half of those requests, and over half of those requests were denied. Just think about that. So we're not hiring people, and we're also folks who put in for PTO. We're not giving them their time off. It's a weird world out there right now, folks. You know, again, what I recommend for all my clients, and what I recommend for anyone who is watching this that is in a management, leadership, ownership position is that you want to, a couple things. One, obviously, we want to make sure that you're managing your affairs appropriately with your people. That's extremely important, that you are only hiring those individuals for jobs that you absolutely need, and you have clearly defined job descriptions and expectations for them. Make sure that's a thing. The other side of that is with your PTO, there's a lot of new laws that are going into effect here in Michigan is one of those about mandatory PTO, reporting, things of that nature. Understand that you need to be proactive on your PTO policy, specifically in the way that you have people schedule their time off. You want to give as much advance for people to be able to schedule their time off in advance as possible. Also look at the percentage of people that you can have off at any given time, and make sure that that is advertised, it is publicized, and that folks are aware that this is how management is going to manage time off requests. We cannot have any more than 15% of the office out at any given time, something like that, as far as for excused, approved PTO. Can you do anything about sick time off and things like that? In a lot of states now, people want to just call in sick. They can call in sick and there's no requirement for a doctor's note or anything. You can't do that anymore. There's a lot of new laws out there, so just be aware. My thing is just always be transparent and set high standards for folks, for the management and leadership, as well as the employees, for managing and organizing things. So again, it's a unique piece here that we're in a transition phase right now, folks. So just be aware of that. We are transitioning from whatever the COVID juice fest was. And even, guys, a lot of folks forget what 2019 was like. 2019 was banging. It was the happiest time ever for most of the world. We were just living our best lives. And then 2020 hit, we got knocked down, and then we jumped right back into living our best lives a year and a half to 2 years later. 2021, it was go time. Back to spending crazy and just living our best life. So we're coming off of a basically, if we're looking for a bimodal bump in what I would say would be animal spirits or euphoria. And now all of those bills are coming due across the board. And we're seeing it play out in, frankly, the way people have built and managed their businesses for a long time. Okay. So again, I appreciate everybody who hung out this long. Hopefully I earned your subscription today. Again, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can know when I come live, so you can come on here and answer any questions you may have. So with that, take care, and I will see you next time.